All right, so yesterday we looked at sketching, drawing, and constructing. Looked at constructing congruent segments. We locked the compass and kept that setting the whole time. We looked at, this one's yours. Constructing the midpoint. We locked our compass and kept that setting the whole time. And we looked at making an angle bisector, constructing an angle bisector. Again, we locked our compass and kept it that setting the whole time. On this last one that we're going to be looking at, constructing congruent angles, we are going to have to change the setting on our compass once. We're not going to be able to keep it locked the whole time. To construct a congruent angle, the first step is to draw a ray, unless you're going to build the congruent angle off of the existing angle that's already there. So we're going to draw a ray first using our straight edge. It can be anywhere on the paper. I'm going to draw mine right here. It can be any length you want. You just have to have a clear vertex. Next, we're going to take the point. Not sure why there's so much side talk, guys. Take the point of your compass and put it on the actual vertex of the angle. You do want to keep your compass locked for this step because you're going to make an arc for both the given angle and the one that you're going to be creating. On the one you're going to be creating, you want a nice semicircle or bigger than what you think the actual angle is. You need it to be longer, or you need your arc to be longer than what you think the actual angle is. So step 2 was to do an arc, to lock the compass, and do an arc from each vertex. So from both vertices. All right. Now, if I just draw some random arc out here, I'm going to get an obtuse angle, right? You can see that if I just connect this, it's going to be an obtuse angle, which this is not. So this is where we have to change the setting of our compass. Once we have our two arcs, step 3 is to re-lock our compass from where those two rays are intersected on the main arc. So where rays are intersected on the angle. So I put my point of my compass on one of those points, and I open my compass up so that the pencil is on the other point, kind of like doing a congruent segment. Thinking about this distance right here, I want to lock that distance from this point to this point. And I want it to be as exact as possible. With that compass locked, I'm going to bring the sharp point up to my new ray, that intersection point, and I'm going to do an arc. So step 4 is to, using that new lock, do an arc from intersection on the new ray. So I had locked it this distance, right? And then all I did was come up here, drop my point on the ray of the angle I'm forming, and did an arc up here. And so this was, let me label what we did. We first drew this ray, then we locked. So this is step 2. I'm locking. I'm putting 2L for lock this distance right here. No, I'm sorry. That's not what step 2 is. Geez, that's step 3. That's step 3. Step 2 was to do this arc. Step 2 is to do an arc here and an arc here. Step 3 was to lock it this distance and then we could pivot up here. That's step 4. I'm going to put it here and pivot this right here. Because by doing that, we've created the intersection point right here, that this distance and this distance are the same. This distance and this distance is the same as this distance and this distance. And so I simply connect the vertex of my new angle to the intersection of the two arcs on my new angle, and I have a congruent angle. I'm going to walk through those steps again. Our first step was to draw this ray. Then we did an arc on the angle and the same locked setting on the ray. We did it bigger than what we expected. Then we locked this distance, brought it up here and pivoted it, and that gave us this intersection point to make the congruent ray. I'll do one more below.
How do you know where to put the second vertex?
I chose here.
It doesn't matter?
If you're for making your other angle, it doesn't matter where on the paper unless, so let me give you an example with this, unless I told you that this is angle BAC. And I wanted you to create a congruent angle called BAD. And I want that angle to be congruent to angle BAC. Then it does matter. Because what ray are they going to share? AB. So that in that case, this is the ray I would have to use. Okay, so I wouldn't be drawing a new ray. But for most purposes, if I'm just trying to build congruent angles, I can draw that ray wherever I want to. So let me go through with this angle down here, making a congruent one to this, and then I'll show you the case of BAC. On the one down here, I'm going to draw an angle, or draw a ray. It can be anywhere. I'm going to draw my ray right here. I'm going to make an arc. It doesn't matter the size of your compass, just keep it consistent. So after I draw my ray, I'm now going to make an arc from this vertex and the same arc from this vertex. Maybe a little longer so that I can make sure I can see it and they're going to intersect when I'm done. So that's step 2, is doing those arcs. What's step 3? What do I do next?
Then you bring it out.
I already have it here. I need to change the lock or change the setting on the compass to be this distance right here. So this is step 3. I need to lock that distance. Set my compass down. By locking that distance, I already have this equidistant for here and here. I'm trying to figure out where on here the other point's where the point's supposed to be. So locking this distance, making sure not to move my compass, I come back over to, I feel like I did something wrong. Oh, I come back over to here where this intersection point is, and I do an arc. So this distance right here should be the same as this distance right here, but it's not. My compass moved on me. There we go. Now it will be. My compass shifted on me. I didn't even look like a good curve there. So they're going to intersect right here. This distance right here and this distance right here are the same. We already know that this and this are the same. And so we connect that intersection point to our new vertex with a straight edge, and we have a set of congruent angles. I'm going to try that for the next one, but I'm going to build it off of this angle. It actually makes the problem a little easier. I don't have to draw a new ray. I just have to draw an arc big enough, right? Because this is going to be my new ray. BAD and BAC share a ray. I'm going to make a nice big arc that's on this side bigger than this if I want it to be this length. This is my new ray, so I need to pivot from this point, but I have to relock my compass to be this length. With it relocked this length, I can come up here and pivot. And now this point to this vertex, those two angles should be the same because this distance is the same, this distance is the same, this, and this distance are the same.